Okay, good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody here and everybody at home watching on YouTube to the Summers Board of Education meeting for December 8th, 2025. We'll officially call this meeting to order, and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We'll move the approval of minutes. So I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from the November 24th meeting. Shane, do we have a second? Derek, all in favor? I'm sorry, any discussion before we go? No? All in favor? That's everybody? Okay, that's... JT, what do you think about that? The minutes for last meeting? Great. All right. Ed's not here. Okay, administrative report. Dr. Galloway?
Thank you, and good evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about last week's snow event, just to remind everyone the process that goes into making a decision about weather. So last week we had our first event. All superintendents were on the edge of their seats. So the way it goes is at 4:30 a.m. I call Todd Rowland, who's our Director of Public Works and Roads, who's already out. We have a brief conversation. He briefs me on the current conditions of the roads and anything his team is working on or any challenges that they're trying to work through. At 4:50, I get on a call with the meteorologist, John Baggioni, and many other superintendents in this area. Actually, last week, the call prior to our call was a group of superintendents from the central part of the state. New Britain was on there, Waterbury was on there. So every 15 or 20 minutes, he's with another group. And he briefs us on how the weather is moving and what the projections are. So that happens at 4:50. After that, I once again call Todd to get another update and then start to make a decision. If he says, Sam, roads look good, or it would be good if there's a delay, our guys are out, we're in good shape, but more time would be helpful. So that's part of what goes into the decision making. And I also speak with our folks on deck here about the condition of our parking lots and our walkways. In summers we run a 2-hour delay, so sometimes a 2-hour delay is really about giving folks more time to clear walkways and parking lots. If sometimes at 4:50 when we have that weather call, the meteorologist might say, you're good to start school, but you might want to think about an early dismissal. In fact, the situation, I'm not being dramatic, but it was kind of fluid last week. There was a superintendent around Bloomfield and Windsor who pinged the meteorologist during the school day and said, I'm thinking of releasing early. The pressure was getting thick, right? And he said, probably not the best move. The best move is probably to keep everybody in place because it's due to move out at a certain time and a smoother dismissal will probably happen. And that's the way it worked out. So I just wanted everyone to know that we're plugged in. It starts at 4:30, 4:50, and then it's ongoing. And we will continue to communicate via school messenger, our website, and of course the local TV stations. So are you my first? Well, via text.
Yeah, the admin team gets a text at 5 a.m.
So I text all the admin, and then they have their responsibilities, whether to post on the news stations or send out school messages. So that's how it happens, and that's how we'll proceed for this year. I just wanted everybody to know that. So I just want to transition now into a brief mention on the budget process. So our administrators have come and presented their budgets. I've heard all of them, and I just wanted to let you guys know on January 26th, I'll make my presentation to the board about the formal budget presentation. I do encourage administrators to advocate for their space, advocate for what they think they need, and that is what they do. I'm not anticipating any large asks. For instance, last year was over $200,000 in curriculum, over $40,000 in technology. Those large purchases are not going to be coming towards you for that. So our percentage will most definitely be lower than last year. Moving on, regarding the SES HVAC project, we hit submit this afternoon and submitted our non-priority grant to the state in the amount of about $11.5 million for funding for the SES HVAC project. I'm not sure when we'll get a response. It could be 2 weeks, could be 4 weeks, but as soon as I get that response, I'll update you. And lastly, on Wednesday evening is the National Honor Society induction. We have 37 students who have achieved that prestigious honor. I'll be there to fawn all over them and congratulate them. That is a huge accomplishment. That's something, you actually have bragging rights on that, like even when you're an adult, depending on the company that you're around, right? And that concludes my briefing for this evening, pending any questions.
Great, thank you.
I have a question. And I'm asking this for education. What is the SES non-priority funding grant for the HVAC?
It's a grant now that's offered to school systems on a rolling basis each month.
Okay.
So our window closed with the original funding for this grant.
Yeah.
So we've been working with the building committee and outside consultants to submit another grant to the state, and they approve these grants on a rolling basis.
Okay, and that funding source is from the state specifically? Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Dr. Galloway? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie, with our monthly budget report.
Okay, it's going to be a quick one because there's not that many changes that you wouldn't have already known about. So, as I said last month and the month before, we were expecting some fluctuations in salaries due to long-term subs. So we've hired a new permanent science teacher up at the high school. So that long-term sub that was covering that, their wages were taken out of the budget. The new teacher was put into the budget, so there was a little bit of a fluctuation there. There was also, in benefits, there was a slight change. That was only because somebody who new that came in is taking a waiver instead of insurance. So it was just an additional $500. It's somebody that normally would get $1,000, but the timing of when they come on, they're only getting the $500 of the waiver. And then the last somewhat significant change was in tuition for special ed services provided to magnet school students. We just don't know what the bill is until it comes in, so that has now been encumbered because we did receive that bill. So those were probably the most noticeable changes in the budget this month that were kind of out of the ordinary. So that's the November report.
Any questions for Stephanie?
So the special education overages, because we just don't know yet.
Right, that will definitely come down,
right,
because once we start getting our excess cost money,
correct,
that goes to the town, then I start looking at the purchase orders that are in the system for those out-of-district students,
yes,
and offsetting their tuition costs with that money.
Okay, but we know for sure that our tuition is set at 1.3 about, that's all.
Yeah, unless there's some surprise, which...
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Could always happen.
Early
yeah, I mean, you just never know. Sometimes you could get a student mid-year that's already outplaced.
Thank you.
I don't believe that there's any students currently in district that the anticipation is that they are going to go out before the end of the year. So I'm not expecting anything.
Okay.
It's early.
Karen. One shot in time. That was as of November 30th.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Opportunity to add or delete agenda items. Nothing? Okay. Then I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda. JP, second? Okay. Gina, any discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. No old business, new business. We'll welcome America Krause up to talk about the Connecticut Convention Center field trip.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess I sit here. All right. I said up.
Sit there,
Stand is
whatever
great.
you want to do.
Okay, so we are about to take all of these students to Yukon for the Eastern Region Festival. They're going to perform at Jorgensen Center. And all of these students, because they qualified for Eastern Region Music Festival, also qualify to audition for All-State. The All-State Festival is the reason I'm here. So, I have to turn it on, sorry. Maybe. Okay. So, our kids audition for Eastern Regionals. They have to make the cutoff scores. Then they participate in the festival at UConn. Then they audition in February at North Haven High School for All-State. And then if they make that cutoff score, they have the opportunity to participate in the festival that's held at the Connecticut Convention Center. In rare instances, we've actually had kids apply for All-Eastern or Nationals, too. At every step, our music patrons support the students by making most of the fees $10, with the exception of All-State, and you'll get more of those details right here. So All-State is March 26th through the 28th. They go Thursday and Friday and rehearse all day, and then on Saturday they rehearse just a little bit in the morning, and then they have their concert in the afternoon. It is incredible. There's a lot of students, and these are the 3 students that made it last year, 2 of whom are seniors this year and are in the running again. So they're very excited for that. You can see the festival fee is $225 for commuter students, and then they have the opportunity, if they so choose, to be an overnight student, which is a lot easier on families rather than having somebody drive them back and forth into Hartford each day, and tends to be the way they choose. So this is the information. CMEA provides the chaperones and the nursing, and most of the time, and in fact this year as well, there's going to be professional development offered for teachers to come in during the day, and Jessica Wolf and I we almost always go to that and take in a lot of the sessions and check on the kids and watch the rehearsal process. And they hire people from all over the U.S. to be the conductors, and it's just an absolutely incredible experience for our kids.
Great.
Any questions?
How do they score? Like, how does the scoring work?
So I actually was a judge this Saturday for the middle school one, and so there's a rubric. It's very detailed. They have to sing or play there's lists of scales that they have to do. They have to sight read, and they have to prepare for All-State. They prepare a choral piece where they have to sing, like the recording plays all the other voice parts except for theirs, and then they have to hold their own. And they're judged for their intonation and their, basic things like rhythm and things like pitch, of course, and then, but also more minute things in terms of like their tonality and how bright their sound is and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's a very nerve-wracking process, but it's pretty awesome. What I love about it is every time they go into the audition, they also get comments and feedback, and it gives them some direction on how to keep growing.
So how many so let's say there's 200 trumpet players. How many make it to All-State?
So All-State for trumpet is actually, it's very difficult for instrumentalists. There's a possibility of auditioning for the jazz band, right? There's an opportunity for maybe a couple of people to get into the orchestra. Most of them are going to get into the band, but you're competing against the entire state So it is not easy. How many, I couldn't tell you exactly. The choirs are probably 150 each choir. There's a mixed choir, a treble choir, there's the jazz band, there's the orchestra, and there's the concert band. So there's 5 different groups that they could possibly audition for.
And are these the kids that, and this is awesome, this is great, I love it. Are the kids that are going for the All-State, they've already made NCCC, like the NCCC?
So NCCC is actually slightly different.
Okay.
NCCC is teacher nominated, and it's done just with schools in our DIRG. So NCCC is different. There's not an audition process. This is audition only.
Okay.
So we can't ever nominate them to get in. We have no say in whether they get in or not. We just prepare them. And so we can't judge our own students. I had to find other judges to come because they had one of my own students scheduled for my room, and I was like, nope, you got to get somebody else. So we get no say in it. It's all part of the audition process.
So I apologize, this is probably way clearer than what I'm interpreting. Is that the date of the audition, or that's the actual, like?
The actual festival is the end of March.
The festival, okay.
The audition is in February.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a process. They auditioned for the first level in November, right around when they had NCCC.
Yeah.
That same weekend before NCCC, they had their auditions for Eastern Region. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And then the festival is January, auditions for All-State February, and then All-State actually happens in March. So we don't stop.
Yeah. Keep going.
Pretty awesome.
Nice. Good luck.
Are the overnight students accompanied by a parent or guardian?
No.
No? Okay.
Nope. The chaperones are they're all Connecticut music educators, and through many of the different schools here in the state.
Are you like paired up with a roommate, or do you go with someone in your own school?
They try. They're paired up with roommates.
Yeah.
They do try to put people with people they know, but that doesn't always happen, and it can't. We've had times where we have one person that makes All-State. The fact that we had 3 was pretty awesome last year. Yeah.
Are they staying at the convention center?
There's a Marriott right connected. Yeah. In fact, we rehearse a little bit in the Marriott too.
So it's all in the same building. Once they arrive to that building, they're essentially going.
They're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just going through that little path.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Just out of concern for the student safety, just want to make sure
Of course.
appropriate protocols in place.
And there's security at the convention center. Like, you can only get up when you have your ID tag, and yeah, they keep it very secure. There's always people with them.
Excellent.
Any other questions? No? All right. We'll take a motion to approve the March 2026 Connecticut Convention Center field trip. And second, Ken, all in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck. All right. Now we'll welcome Stephanie back up to talk about the new mortality tables.
You're probably much more knowledgeable about than I am. So our USI, or formerly known as Hooker and Holcomb, they're our actuary, and they do our valuation report for our pension and our OPEB, and that dictates or helps to dictate what our ADEC is, which is the responsibility of the board. That's how much the calculation is done to figure out how much the board's liability is to pay into the pension or pay into the OPEB every year. So this year, USI did our valuation, and they let me know that the mortality tables were updated in May of 2025. And this is, mortality tables, and Mike, you can correct me, this is going to be a very layman's term, like layman, it's based on how long they expect you to live, and how, based on those tables and that calculation, it's a formula that determines how much they think that the board is going to have to put in order to pay out the pension liability for all of the people that are on our pension plan. I think that's the gist of it.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
So these were updated in May of 2025. I reached out to Kevin at Morgan Stanley just to say, hey, could you just let me know like what your thoughts are, because USI is telling me that we should do this, and that I just want to make sure that you agree with us with that as our financial advisor. And he said yes, the majority of his municipalities have already adopted the tables. So because this is a change to the pension calculation, I need to bring it to the board for full board approval on whether we stay with the 2010 mortality tables or move to the 2016 mortality tables. And they gave us a kind of a calculation of what would happen if we stayed with the current mortality table that we've always used or moved, and it's about a $20,000 savings that we'll see reflected in next year's budget that I won't have to budget for. So, sounds like it's a win-win to me.
How often do they do the tables?
Well, the last time that these were updated was, let's see, I think that they gave me that, it may be in another email that I have. I can let you know.
The last ones I remember were 2016, so it's not.
It's not often.
Not often.
Okay.
No.
So I can double check if you
No, that's okay.
want
I'm just curious.
date.
Any questions? Okay, so we'll take a motion to adopt the PUB 2016 mortality tables for the pension. Shane, second. Derek, all those in favor? That too was unanimous.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. Committee reports. Curriculum.
Absent.
Policy.
Our next meeting will be hopefully on January 26th, if everyone can make it. It's a board meeting night. And for right now, we'll put 6 o'clock. We can always go later.
Okay, planning and finance.
We met last Monday and went through first round of the budget and talked about some of the priorities. And we will have another draft of that on the 8th at 4 p.m.
Salary negotiations, we are on hold. Building committee, Sam discussed a little bit about the grant app going out, which is great. What we talked about, there's a couple things I just want to touch on. The estimated cost is somewhere right around $11.5 million, which after the subsidy will be about a $5.8 million cost to the town. Because it's a different project, the committee decided to rebid the whole thing because we think we might be able to get better pricing. So those bids are going to go out with a deadline of the 26th of January. And the other thing we learned is that it's mandated by the state to have a commissioning agent. So we will need a commissioning agent to, from what I understand, just make sure everything works as we go through the project. And
Yeah, the state mandates it on all school projects, so
Yeah.
I think that they just make sure that everything is being followed properly.
Yep.
And that's a paid position.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
By us.
about $70,000.
Would we
For the whole
Did we
project.
know? Did we need this person last time, or because it was
Yes.
a different grant?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that it's about a 70, or it was a 70,000 on the last project because we did go out to bid for it in the last.
Oh, you get to pick who does it.
Yeah, you have to bid it out, and it goes to the lowest, most qualified bidder.
CIP?
Next meeting is December 18th, and then they'll set the calendar for next year.
Right, great. Correct.
Got nothing?
And Shane, SES.
Next meeting is January 15th.
Okay, the advanced calendar. We have the Board of Ed photo is going to be the next meeting, the 12th of January. If everybody can make it. Kim, don't.
Don't do it, Kim.
And he's in Tampa for soccer.
That's
Let me
Emmy's problem.
see. I have to be the one.
Oh, okay.
Joe's doing
Emmy's
Arizona.
on the picture.
I'm the one escorting.
Okay.
Let me just make sure though, because I have a booked a return flight.
Okay. The 13th, of January is capstone. It'd be nice if everybody can make it. I'm going to be there. I think a couple other people here will be there. Just, you know, even if you're there for a half hour or so, walk around, check things out. It's pretty neat.
Or to sign up to evaluate.
Yeah, I talked to Tenley, she said she needs evaluators for the morning.
Yeah.
So I'll plan to be here for the morning, I'll just take a half day.
Okay.
I just need confirmation.
All right. Like Dr. Galloway discussed, Wednesday night we have the NHS ceremony, 6 o'clock at the high school. Again, Ann is going.
I'll be there.
Yep.
I'll be there. Gene will be there, so if you can stop by, be a nice event to go to. One other thing to discuss, just want to discuss the handbooks that went out a little bit.
Right, everybody got the revised handbook at the last meeting. So just for the new board members, we've tried to improve on our mentoring, especially for new board members. So I know you don't keep it on your nightstand and look at it every night, but it's really meant as a reference. And when I think probably the best thing about this is everything in the notebook is all public information. So if you get questions from citizens, friends, there's nothing in there that cannot be shared. And I think that's the plus of the whole thing, that we really try to be transparent. And there's a whole page of different definitions, which I learned myself when I tried explaining to someone else what the cost-sharing formula was, and I couldn't do it, that maybe it was time to have an explanation so that we could all understand it. So that's probably one of the best examples. So we're going to try and update this at least every other year as we get new board members. So one thing that's helpful is as you go through it, you know, let Mike or me know, gee, I wish you could have put this in, that would have been helpful to me, and we'll just keep making it better. So that's it.
Thank you, Ann. Audience to citizens, staff, students. Funny, okay. Well, before we adjourn, I would like to, this is our last meeting of 2025, so I do wish everybody a happy and healthy holiday season. See everybody in January.
Everybody dropped off their gifts.
Everyone's got, everyone brought their gifts?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Shane, second. JT, all those in favor?
With enthusiasm.
Unanimous. All right. Thank you.
Like, she definitely plays on the 12th, I just don't know what time.
Perfect.
He's like some AI, you know?